Let's kick this thing off. I'm
Let's
excited.
do it. I feel like we're opening today with a really hot topic. It's been something that has been in the media a lot. Probably you at home have seen it. And Andrew, my question for you today, should I stop consuming protein powder because it has lead in it?
Yes. I'm so happy. Well, no, you shouldn't. But also, yes, I'm very excited we're talking about this topic. This one has blown up. So it was, I think, 2 weeks ago now. Consumer Reports released a report on a variety of mostly plant-based protein powders, a couple whey protein powders and other dairy-based ones as well, but it was mostly plant-based. And they made some really, really exclamatory and bold claims from information that did not warrant it. And so what's happened is I personally have had at least a dozen people DM me like, should I stop taking my protein powder? The dietitian team, we've been getting flooded with this across our offices. So we had to address this in one of our team meetings like last week, was like, hey, no, here's the data. This is where we're at. And so that's what's fun, is as a team, we're always staying on the cutting edge, which is part of what we do for people, help them navigate the confusing world that is nutrition. But the short answer is no. Keep calm, protein on, you're good to go. Some of the details that I'd want people to know about this. First is that lead is a biologic problem as much as it's an environmental problem. So when you hear lead in food, there's this immediate response. It's like, oh, that must be from, the machinery, or this must be something that was added to it. Like this is a mark of inferior quality. Lead is one of many minerals and elements that are in soil. And anything that grows has some amount of lead. The question is not presence or absence, it's dosage. And in this case, we have two criteria. We have sort of what we'll call our USDA and FDA guidelines of like what is safe and tolerable, like a tolerable upper limit to prevent toxicity. And then we have one thing that gets nudged and referenced often, which is the Prop 65 recommendation. Prop 65 is out of California. It came out about 15 years ago at this point. And this was California in the early days of some of its like really progressive food regulation and ruling. And Prop 65 is really just, if it exceeds Prop 65 in the state of California, there has to be a trigger it triggers a label requirement. And so this product has more lead than Prop 65 allows. The question then should be, well, what's the validity of the Prop 65?
Is that level? A recommendation we should be following? Is it
based in research, and is there rationale for it? And the short answer is like, it's not great. And so it's kind of an opinion, and it was really politically bastardized in a lot of ways. And so it's really hard to take Prop 65 seriously and do a lot with it. I don't put a lot of weight into it. The comment is with lead specifically, the generally recognized like safe tolerable upper limit is, I think, 12.5 micrograms. Prop 65 arbitrarily sets it at 0.5 micrograms. So like 1/25 of the dosage.
Far below.
And these are both parts per million measures and parts per billion. So these are microscopic. And just like people freak out when they see the video, have you seen the video of the magnet in baby formula and the iron comes out? And it's, yes, when you consume iron, it is a teeny metal. And so no, that metal in the baby formula is not shards of metal from the factory. That is literally what iron looks like at a non-microscopic level once it's pulled. Lead is the same thing. These things in trace amounts are not the problem. And so trace mineral or trace element is not a problem. It's the dosage. And so what's worth noting, this consumer report, most of the products that were reported were still under the Prop 65, which is wild to say. So we're not even saying that these all exceeded Prop 65. We're saying that some of them were close to it, and they got called out for being close to a measure that's 1/25 of what we know to be safe.
It's making major headlines, and it hasn't even exceeded Prop 65.
For no reason. Here's even worse. Here's a fun thing to think about. 0.5 micrograms. A sweet potato has 1 microgram. A cup of spinach has 1 microgram. A half cup of oats has roughly 1 microgram.
And these are all foods that everyone thinks are incredibly healthy.
They're just food, right?
Yeah,
it's because they're plants.
Food.
And plants come from the ground, and ground soil has all sorts of minerals in it. And so most of these protein powders that are now getting basically chastised and categorized as bad had less in them than a serving of a fruit or a vegetable or a grain. And so that's why I say short answer is keep calm, keep doing your thing. There are going to be trace amounts of these things. Lead is not poisonous at any dosage. It is poisonous at high dosages. We have very good data that shows what those dosages are. For lead, it's nothing over 12.5 micrograms per day consistently over time. Mm-hmm. You're talking about products that are between 0.1 and 0.5 for the most part, which is way, way, way down there. And so keep using your protein powders if that's something that's a part of your day. I wouldn't want to see you lose access to that, especially if it's something that's a part of your overarching routine and rhythm and keeps you in a good place and helps drive your satiety or helps your muscle recovery or why else you're using it. Mm-hmm. And this is an example of the media. It must have been a slow media day. Like that's what happens is they look for a headline and unfortunately, fear sells better than happiness.
Absolutely. This has become a huge fear-mongering thing, whether it be the media, the news, and also once nutrition influencers get wind of this, and maybe people who don't have a nutrition scientific background, they might take a headline and run with it and not understand all the things that you and I just dove into and the dosing of it. Who is going to take the time to look at a TikTok that they saw and then go do a bunch of research on the adequate dosage and what the dosage of their protein powder is versus the dosage of a sweet potato?
It's me. It's what we do.
And that is you. And of course, that's where the dietitian comes in.
Yep, that's where we come in. But that is, to your point, that's what happens is it's a headline that then gets just passed across all sorts of tiers. And it's a bunch of people that think they know enough just to be dangerous. And also a bunch of people that frankly are just in it for the clicks and swipes, which is one of my least favorite things. It's like if the entire reason why you're doing something is for attention, you've lost the plot. Like period, just end of story, lost the plot. That is one of the most sickening things. I digress so we don't fractal, but yeah, it's to say this consumer report was largely an invalid and irrelevant thing. I would ignore it. And any of the people that are out there that are chastising this or blowing this up and blowing it out of proportion likely don't really understand science, which is unfortunate, but it is reality. And I guess my last comment would just be keeping in mind that where you get your information matters. And so don't forget that there are people out there that actually want to dig into the research and want to help you navigate and have your best interest in mind. And if someone is about to rebut like, well, people should be eating whole foods instead, it's like, sure, but a protein shake or a protein powder can be a tool in a toolbox. Absolutely. And there's millions of people that have millions of lives, and there's different ways to puzzle piece stuff together. And so I'm not going to chastise one ingredient for all people. So just, understand the game you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely.